Hey there, CJ Math students. I hope you have a nice long weekend. Tonight you're going to be doing any of your test corrections. So remember, you only have to correct the problems that you got wrong. Make sure that you follow exactly what happens here in the video so that you understand, okay, that's how you do the problem, and then do the practice problem right next to it. So you'll get two chances to kind of correct your work here. So problem number 1. Which of the decimals can be placed in the sequence from below so that the numbers are ordered from least to greatest? So what I did here is I decided to stack my decimals, but I left an empty space right there. And then I started kind of plugging in these numbers. So right off the bat, I knew 22 wasn't going to work because that would not be from least to greatest. So I could get rid of that. I knew 31 wasn't going to work because 31 is smaller than 33, so that's not going to work. And 308, if I plug it in, it may look like it works, but if I plug in zeros here, 330, 308, it's still not going to work. So the only one that does work is 0.642. All right, and this keeps this in order from least to greatest. Number 2, which of the following has the least value? Again, I went ahead and stacked my decimals, filling in any empty spaces in the end with zeros. So I have 2 empty spaces here, 1 here, and 2 here. So the least value, the smallest, 300, 290, 500, 306, 290 is the least value. Number 3, which of the following has the greatest value? Well, it's basically opposite of number 2, so there's 0.82, 0.806, 0.815, 0.76. Fill in with zeros. Right, the greatest value, the one that has the most, 820, 806, 815, 760. 820 has the greatest value. So we're 8.82. Compare the following decimals. Again, you guessed it, I'm going to go ahead and stack my decimals and fill in any empty spaces with zeros. 1, 2, 3. So less than, greater than, or equal to. So we're going to point at the smaller and eat the bigger number. This is my bigger number because 3,000 is bigger than 2,929. So I can say bigger. So I want to point at the smaller and eat the bigger. That's what that looks like. Compare the following fractions using less than, greater than, or equal to using the butterfly method. So butterfly method says, all right, 8 times 8 is 64. 9 times 7 is 63. I want to point to the smaller number and eat the bigger number. 64 is bigger, so it's going to be greater than. And I'll put this here just in case you can't see that. 6 and 7, show your work by underlining the correct place value in the question. So rounding 733.399 to the nearest hundredth. So here's the hundredth spot right there, that second 9 there, sorry. And so I'm going to circle this number and say, all right, do I round up to what would be 40? Because this 9 would have to go to 10, which I can't do, so I carry the 1 to the 3, make it 40. Or do I stay the same? And the answer is obviously I round up because 9 or 5 or more, 9 is higher than 5, I round up. Next one, to the nearest 10th. So the 4 is the 10th spot, meaning I look at the 6, and do I round up to 5, or do I stay the same at 4? It means I round up to 5 because, again, that 6 is greater than 5. So 5 or more, round up. Number 8, Mr. Mason went to the grocery shopping yesterday. He drove 5.6 miles from school to the store. After shopping, he drove 3.21 miles to pick up his dry cleaning. Finally, he drove 4 miles to get home. How many miles did Mr. Dyson drive all together? So a lot of you did 5.6 plus 3.21, and then you stop there. No, but I also drove 4 miles, so got to add in the 4 as well to get home. So add in all your zeros, add this all up. So we get 1, 8, 5 plus 3 is 8, plus 4 is 12. I drove 12.81 miles. Jonathan got a great deal on a new Xbox game. He only paid $34.54 for the new Call of Duty. Trayvon paid $59 for the game. How much more did Trayvon spend than Jonathan? A lot of you did 34 minus 59, so you put 34 on top and then minus 59 on the bottom. Trayvon paid more money. How much more did Trayvon spend than Jonathan? So you want to say Trayvon paid $59, subtract out what Jonathan paid, which is $34.54, add in your zeros, right? And then go ahead and start subtracting there, right? So got to borrow here, make this an 8, that's a 10, borrow from there, make it a 9. So 10 minus 4 is 6, 9 minus 5 is 4, 8 minus 4 is 4, 5 minus 3 is 2. So he paid $24.46 more for the Call of Duty game. Number 10. So many of you just decided, oh, well, the last ones were adding and subtracting word problems, so this must be an adding and subtracting word problem. Read the problem carefully. I always ask you to stop putting pens in your mouth because your mouth has saliva, and saliva carries a lot of bacteria. Awake, you produce 0.52 millimeters of saliva per hour. So 0.52 millimeters per hour. 0.52. How much saliva do you produce in 10.5 hours? This is not as simple as just adding 10.5, right? 1 hour I get 0.52. 2 hours, well, that would be 0.52 times 2. 3 hours would be 0.52 times 3. How much it produce in 10.5 hours? Well, it's just 0.52 times 10.5. And notice you don't have to line up your decimals when you multiply. You just have to go ahead and make sure that you're counting, so in the end you know how many times to swoop. So 2 times 5 is 10, carry your 1. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 1 is 26, carry your 2. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. Lay your egg. This row will be nothing but zeros because we have 0, 0, 0. Lay 2 eggs. And then 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 0 is 0. Now add it all up. We get 0, we get 6, we get 4, we get 5, and since we have 3 decimal places, I'm going to move or swoop 3 times, 1, 2, 3. So 5.4600 or just 5.46. All right, so that was not an adding problem, it was a multiplication problem. You recently got a new job, you earned $75.60 working an 8-hour shift. How much do you earn per hour? I want to find out how much you make in 1 hour per hour, right? This is a division problem. If I told you this is how much you make in 8 hours, to find out how much you make in 1 hour, you would just take this number and divide it by 8. So that's what we're going to do. 8 divided into 75, put your decimal, 60. So 8 goes into 75 9 times because that's 72. Get 3 left over, 36. 8 goes into 36 4 times because that's 32. 4 left over, bring down your 0. 8 goes into 40 5 times. We get nothing left over, so $9.45 per hour. Guys, this answer or this answer doesn't make any sense, right? This is if I was earning $75.60 an hour, this is how much I would make in an 8-hour workday. All right, so it doesn't make any sense to make to multiply here because I just want to figure out for 1 hour. All right, bonus, it's at circle 1. I hope I told you to cross that off. About how many times more is this than the 4 billion people living on less than $4 a day? So $9.45, it's about 2 times more. About 2 times more. Making twice what those people are living on a day. All right, number 12, which is equivalent to the fractions 11 over 6? This is an improper fraction, so we divide 6 into 11. 6 goes in 11 one time with 5 left over. So my answer should be 1 and 5 over 6. A. Which point is closest to the point 4/3 on the number line? So let's first take that improper fraction, turn it into a mixed number. 4 goes into 3. 4 goes into 3 one time with 1 left over. So my answer is 1 and 1/3. So now I'm looking for 1 and 1/3. Well, F can't be 1 and 1/3 because that's not even greater than 1. G is very close to 1 and 1/3, might be it. H is 3, I is like 3.5, and J is about 4 and, I don't know, 1/3 or so. So it's got to be G by process of elimination. 14 through 15. Which number line shows the correct information for 1/2, 1/4, and 2/3? Well, the first thing I could do is actually skip this and go down to question 15 and compare using the butterfly method to see, all right, how this should work out. So 4 times 1, that's 4, this is 2, so we point to the smaller one. So 1/2 should be further down the number line than 1/4. And then we do 1 times 3. So 1 times 3 is 3, and 4 times 2 is 8. So we're going to point to the smaller one. And 2/3 should be further down the number line than 1/4. And you might even want to compare 1/2 and 2/3, which some of you did. Great job. 2 times 2 is 4. 3, so I'm going to point at the smaller one. So 2/3 should be the furthest down. So anything that doesn't have 2/3 the furthest down between those three fractions that we're given is incorrect. So this one has 2/3 furthest down. This one has 1/4, so it's automatically out. And this one has 2/3 furthest down. Great. So now let's use a fraction that we do know. 1/2 should be right in the middle. 0, 1, 1/2, right in the middle. B is already out. 0, 1, 1/2, all the way over here? No. Goodbye. So process of elimination again, A is your correct answer. 16, if a circle is a whole, which fraction represents the total quantity? Write a picture as a mixed number and convert it. So we have two holes, and one divided into 4 pieces. So this should be very simple. 2 times 4 is 8. Add it up, we should get 9 over 4, D. Right. Adding and subtracting fractions. We're going to go ahead and try and find common denominators here. That's what we have to do when we add and subtract fractions. So I will start us off. So this will be 15 over 21 plus 7 over 21. That will give us 22 over 21. This is an improper fraction, so 21 goes into 22 one time, with 1 left over, so my answer 1 and 1 over 21. Number 18, so times 8 times 3, so we get 33 over 24 minus 8 over 24. 33 minus 10 is 23, so 2 less. 33 minus 8 should be 25. So we get 25 over 24. And again, that's improper. 24 goes into 25 one time with 1 left over, so that's why we get 1 and 1/24. Right, mixed numbers, still going to find common denominators, so times 3 times 3 times 2 times 2. I'll get 1 and 3 over 6 plus 2 and 4 over 6. That will give me 3 and 7 over 6. The 7/6 is improper, so 6 goes into 7 one time with 1 left over. So this 7/6 is really equal to, I'll put it right there, 1 and 1/6. Then we're going to add it to 3 because that's where that 3 came from. So 3 plus 1 and 1/6 should give us 4 and 1/6 as our answer. So we get D. 1 and 2/5 minus 5/4. So find common denominators. This one we had to borrow on. This is on your reference sheet, guys, on how to borrow. Same with number 19 on what to do if you get an improper fraction with your mixed number. It's on your reference sheet. Some of you guys did a great job using it. Other guys forgot all about it. Use your reference sheet. All right, so we have common denominators, but I can't do 8 minus 25. So what do I have to do? I have to borrow. And when I borrow from the one, I'm borrowing a whole. The whole is determined by my denominator. So I'm borrowing 20 over 20 plus 8 over 20, then minus 25 over 20. So this becomes 28 over 20 minus 25 over 20. And now I just subtract and keep the denominator, so I get 3 over 20. And my answer is A. Number 25, Curtis drank 2/5 of his Gatorade that he earned last week. Amir drank 1/2 his Gatorade. How much did they drink altogether? Altogether, where it goes ahead and says add them up. So 2/5 plus 1/2. Find common denominators. So multiply by 5, multiply by 2. You get 4/10 plus 5/10 equals 9/10 of his Gatorade, not pi. I know that was a mistake. Sorry about that. A local river in Ireland had a depth of 11 2/3 feet at the start of the spring. By the end of the summer, the depth had dropped 4/5 of a foot because of a rare drought. Remember, it always rains in Ireland. What was the water level at the end of the summer? So 11 and 2/3. It's going to drop, so that's subtraction by 4/5 of a foot. We're going to find common denominator. So times 5 times 5 times 3 times 3. So we have 11 and 10 over 15 minus 12 over 15. And what are we going to have to do? We're going to have to borrow because we can't do 10 minus 12. So we borrow. That stays 10 plus, what's our new whole number that we borrowed? It's 15 over 15, determined by that denominator right there, plus the original 10/15 that we had, then minus 12/15. So I'm going to write this up over here. So our new fraction that we have is 10, and 15 plus 10 is 25 over 15 minus 12/15. And now we can actually subtract. So 25 minus 12 is 13, so I'll have 10 and 13/15. C. Backside multiplying. Key was looking for cross-canceling here, guys. Made your life a whole lot easier. So I could just multiply and get 66 over 30, or I could say, hey, that becomes a 1, this becomes a 1. Now I multiply straight across. I get 11 over 5. I know that's an improper fraction. 5 goes into 11 twice with 1 left over. That's how you get 2 1/5. 9, remember to make a whole number a fraction, you simply just put it over 1. So I'm going to rewrite this as 9 over 1 times 1/3, and then I can say, hey, I can cross cancel the 9 and the 3, so 3 divided by 3 is 1, 9 divided by 3 is 3, multiply straight across, and you get 3 over 1, which some of you might have freaked out, and you're like, wait, I don't see 3 over 1. Well, 3 divided by 1 is just 3. A. Division, remember you had to flip before trying to cross cancel. A lot of you guys forgot to flip before, so some of you cross canceled these two 6's right off the bat. You got to flip this fraction first. So you have 6 over 7 now times the new flipped fraction or inverted fraction, 6 over 5. Now you notice we can't cross cancel anything, so we just have to multiply straight across. We get 36 over 35, which I know is improper. 35 goes into 36 one time with 1 left over, so that's why I have 1 and 1/35 as my answer. Again, making sure to flip before we try and cross cancel. So we should have 2 over 3 times 4 over 5. Again, notice we cannot cross cancel anything, so straight across, and we get our answer of 8 over 15. A. 27, 28. Remember, you had to make sure to change these to improper fractions first, and then use your multiplication and division rule. So 1 times 3. So this one became 5 over 3 times 4 times 2 is 8. 9 over 2. Now we can go ahead and look to cross cancel. I can cross cancel the 9 and 3. This becomes a 1 because 3 divided by 3 is 1. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Multiply straight across. I'll get 15 over 2. 2 goes into 15 7 times because that's 14 with 1 left over. That's how you get 7 1/2. Again, key thing here, changing them to improper fractions, then flipping, and then trying to multiply. So 1 times 3 is 3, so we get 4 over 3, still divided by 3 times 5 is 15, so 18 over 5. Now I will flip, and I'll have 4 over 3. Now it's a multiplication problem, 5 over 18, and I'm looking to cross cancel. I can do the 4 and the 18 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So we have 2 times 5, which is 10. 3 times 9, which is 27b. And the backside, 29. This problem was exactly from your notes. It's a multiplication problem. Dwayne Wade currently has 1-year deal worth about $24 million salary. The Bulls rookie Denzel Valentine's yearly salary is 1/12 of. That keyword of usually means multiplication. I'm trying to find what's 1/12 of 24. Really, we can translate that to 1/12 times 24, and we know that's 24 over 1. To make a whole number fraction, just put it over 1. How much is Denzel's yearly salary? Well, first of all, we know, hey, he's a rookie. It's got to be way less than 24 million. So anything bigger than 24 million, see you later. So 36 million should have been out the window. And secondly, let's cross cancel. We can divide both these by 12. 12 divided by 12 is 1. 24 divided by 12 is 2. Multiply straight across. You get 2 over 1, which is the same thing, not as 12 million, but 2 million. It's 2 divided by 1. 2 divided by 1 is 2. Right? And then this is also similar from the notes. Given the width and the area of a football field, you can find its length by, it says what to do, by dividing the area by the width. So I give you the area, 6 2/3. You need to divide that by the width of 1 1/2. So change these from mixed to improper. Get 20 over 3, still divided by 3 over 2. Now let's go ahead and flip this guy. So you get 20 over 3. Now it's not division anymore, it's times, flipped, becomes 2 over 3. Look to cross cancel, can't do it. Multiply straight across. You're going to get 20 times 2 is 40. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 goes into 40 4 times, because that's 36. With 4 left over. So 4 4/9. I was lenient this time. You didn't have to put the units down. You should have. 4 4/9 inches is our answer. You draw a picture which looks something like this, where your area on the inside was 6 2/3 square inches. Your width is 1 1/2, and your length is 4 4/9. And if you multiplied these two numbers together, you would end up with that. So that's it. Call me if you have questions. Please make sure you're doing a good job not only correcting the problem that you missed, but also making sure you're getting the problem correct. That's the practice problem. So therefore you have that skill, you've mastered it. You can go out and help the world solve its problems because you are a problem solver. Thank you.